And the time is 5:03 p.m. Central Standard Time. And we're going to get started with episode 3 of what I'm going to call the Silver Bullet, where I shoot my interests. And anyone that knows me knows that I am a really huge fan of anime and manga. And that is why I have my guest with me. I call him Mangaka Americana. He has gone from pew pews to productions. He is a social media entrepreneur and an independent artist with his new work, Death Trap, in the works at firstamericanmanga.com. And let's get started with episode 3 of the Silver Bullet. But before we do that, let's just clear the air and understand that the views, comments, opinions, anything that is posted here is not an official endorsement by the DoD or the Department of War or the U.S. Air Force or the U.S. Marine Corps at large. These are just two men being a bunch of nerds. And I want to thank anyone who has the opportunity to watch this wherever and whenever you are, because I am doing this. In my industry, we call it yo-yo ops, meaning you're on your own. I am just one man who came off of work, took a shower, and flicked up a webcam and a microphone. So forgive the production value. But let's get started with episode 3 of the Silver Bullet. I'm here with none other than Daniel Donelly of First American Manga. And Daniel Donnelly, I want to hear your story.
All right. First of all, I'd just like to thank you, for having me on here. I appreciate it. You follow me. I always see you like my posts and everything, and I see your posts, and it's good stuff. So my story is I come from a long line of military. My grandpa was in the Navy during World War II in the Pacific, and my other grandpa was in the Marine Corps, and my dad was in the Navy. My two brothers in the Navy, my sister in the Army, and then me. I joined the Marine Corps in 2007 at the age of 21. First, I was trying to get into the Army, but I was so skinny, they were just taking their time trying to give me a waiver or whatever. So I was like, whatever, I'm just going to join the Marine Corps. And they got me in real fast. And my MOS was, I don't even know if it's still a thing anymore. They might have combined all of it. It was 7234 Air Command and Control Operator, which is pretty much like air traffic controller or whatever.
Ground based or tactical based? Because I'm a 13 Bravo on the Air Force side. So were you doing like air to ground stuff, or was this all?
It was tactical. It wasn't like civilian crap. We were in the in this big box, and we had the radar, and we had early electronic warfare stuff and all that. Yeah. And then I went
was it like Marine CRCs? Because I know a couple guys that have done.
What is CRC? I am horrible with acronyms now.
Was it Command and Control Reporting Center or Command Reports? It's been a minute. I'm on the AWACS.
It was called the Tactical Air Operations Center.
Yep, the TAOC.
Yep, that's what I worked. And now I know they just have it condensed in like one computer in a tent now. I don't know what they call it.
Yeah.
Then I went to Iraq in 2009 and did that job. I went to work at the Direct Air Support Center. So they deal with deconflicting aircraft from I think it's 0 to 10,000 feet. Yep. And then the actual job I had was 10,000 to 50,000 or something. So that was pretty cool to see, the fighter jets go support the convoys and all that kind of stuff. And then around 2013, I got out because I got accepted to the Joe Kubert School, which is a comic book school up here in New Jersey.
Yeah.
So I got out of there, moved up here. Then I was like, oh, I want to go back into the military. So I switched over to the New Jersey National Guard.
Yeah.
I did another 8 years. I did 6 years in Marine Corps, and I did 8 years in the Guard. I deployed again with them in 2019 to Jordan. That was a fun deployment. We just trained Jordanians and chilled. And I was working on my book there too. I graduated the Kubert School in 2016, and then I went back again. I went back in a couple years ago, their advanced studies program. Yeah. Then I went again last summer just for shits and giggles. I'm friends with the owner, so he's like, oh, just come on in. I go there to work on my stuff now too. He's really cool. Finished my first book, I think around COVID, because my last thing I did in the Army was I was on the COVID mission, working the vaccine center.
Yeah.
And I remember selling my books to people there. So I finished that one then. I'm working on my second one now. I'm almost 60 pages in. I'm hoping to finish it within a couple months because I have 2 conventions coming up. That's pretty much my story in a nutshell.
Nice. So yeah, I was going to ask what got you into manga production. I mean, was this always something you were interested in, or was this something that you just sort of picked up along the way?
Oh, dude, I love it so much, bro. Like back when I was a kid in like the '90s and stuff,
Yeah.
it's funny. My first dealing with anime manga was I think I randomly woke up really early on a Saturday morning at like 5 and found
And you heard the Inuyasha theme play?
oh, Sailor Moon was my first. Inuyasha was little bit later for me.
Yeah.
I never really watched that, but Sailor Moon, I was just blown away by like the quality of the animation and stuff, and I just got into it from there.
So I would say if you went to school and that's how you got in, and you were still serving, I was surprised they didn't make you do PA.
What's PA?
Like, oh no, we got this, combat controller. By the way, he has a book coming out.
Oh no, when I switched to the guard, I switched to infantry. I didn't want to do no desk shit anymore. So I would just draw. I'd be drawing, and it was funny because it's like that was my break from everything. Going my drill weekends, we would just go and shoot all the time. It was great. I had a good time in the guard. Although when they kicked me out for not getting the vaccine was not a good time.
Oh, yeah. I mean, on the previous story, we talked about that too, because you told me about the COVID ops, and they actually had me do something. So I had graduated in 21, and I could tell the whole story about what happened in 2020 at USAFA. That's a whole nother nightmare. But when I got out, it wasn't as bad as it was in 2020. But I was a casual lieutenant, and they had me stationed at the med group because they were like, "Look, you're sitting here awaiting training. You need to be gainfully employed." So they literally had me sitting in the lobby, and my job for 6 hours was to tell people to put on their masks. I was just like,
dude, okay, dude. So ridiculous, bro.
But the funniest thing that happened there, and I still laugh at it, even though it was stupid, was one day, because most of the guys that were there, they were older, retired people that were coming in to get like their medication for the week. So it was mostly just a bunch of old guys. And this one guy came in on a walker. He couldn't walk, and I was like, "Look, sir, I just got to let you know, according to the policy, it says like you got to wear a mask." He didn't have one, and unfortunately, they didn't also give us masks to give to people that didn't come in with one. And he looked me in my face. He said, "Are you seriously asking me to walk all the way back to my car when I could already have a hard time walking to get a mask?" And I was like, "Sir," nowhere in my job description does it say I have to tackle you if you walk past me. So just like, all I'll do is just tell them that I told you." And then he reached into his jacket pocket and he pulled out what I thought was a bottle of Hennessy and slammed it on the desk in front of me. And he said, "I need to take this urine sample in, and you're preventing me from getting to my appointment." And I was like, "I am not prepared to deal with this biological agent. Please get this bottle of piss off my desk." But yeah, that was probably the funniest thing in terms of COVID ops. And it was it was out there still sort of during the pandemic, but it was also at the med group. So it was just like, I was not trained for this.
Yeah, dude, it sucked. Like I got back from Jordan right, like as soon as I got back, COVID, bam. So it's just ruined everything. And then like I wasn't opposed to vaccines or whatever, they obviously work, throughout time. But then some things just started making me like wonder, like first of all, our first sergeant, he was like, "It's not about giving the vaccine. It's more about giving these people hope." So I'm like, okay, I guess. Okay. And then like people, like I'm not even kidding, bro. A woman brought her kid in like a hazmat suit one time. And these people were rabid. They would be out there like 3-4 in the morning just waiting to get inside to get it was just weird. So I was like, okay, I'm not gonna take it, whatever. And then they started getting really lame about it, like, "Oh, you bet you gotta take it, you're gonna get processed out." I'm like, fine.
Look, I know some people that were thrown out because their religious exemptions got denied. And I know a buddy of mine, he was threatened with a dishonorable discharge. And then about 8 months later, he got foisted out. And then it was actually right after I PCS'd from my training. I still kept up in contact with him. He was like, "Hey, man, like 2 years later, they asking me to come back in." I was just like,
exactly.
Why did they just waste your? Thankfully, he ended up getting a general. But I was like, they threatened your life with a dishonorable, and now they're asking you to come back like a year and a half later. Like, what's going on?
That's how I knew it was my time to get out.
Yeah.
At first, I was belligerent, and second, I realized that these people that are telling me what to do and hassling me, they're like miserable middle-aged men with families, and they don't like to be home. It's like, No. I told my commander when I got out, I didn't have any IRR time left. She's like, "Oh, you can come back." And I'm like, "Man, you could not pay me enough to put these boots on again."
Yeah, I mean, we had people that were literally kicking in their door. You know, security forces were kicking in people's doors and holding them down and forcing them at injections. And you had guys that were getting awards for urging vaccine hesitant, service members to take it. I was just like,
that's another funny thing. I got an Army Achievement Medal for working that site, and then they kicked me out.
Oh my gosh!
But it all works out because I have an honorable discharge now, and I'm out and getting my benefits. So
yeah, I said this on my interview with Adam Dorito. I say, hey, look, it's not about the scarlet letters; it's about the scar tissue. But
dude, that's all it is. They just try to scare you. The higher ups, that's all it is. They think they can control you because you're a lower tier listed person or officer or whatever. They just think they can control you, but they really can't. At the end of the day, they can't. I got in trouble. Well, not really in trouble. When I came back from Jordan, this E6 or 7, I don't remember what the hell he was. He kept telling me like, "Oh, you're gonna go to this NCO school," and I'm like, dude, I got so glad. I'm like, no, I'm not. I didn't even address his rank or anything. You know, like the look in his face was like, you remember the old blue screen of death on a computer, like EXE era looked in his eye. I'm like, you can't physically make me go, And that's another reason I was like, all right, I need to get out because I have no discipline anymore. I don't have any respect for anybody. Whew. But yeah, that's my story.
Yeah, that's my story. But beyond that, your stories that are on page, are they inspired by your service at all? Because I'm sure you have plenty of things that you could laugh about in hindsight, but definitely think like, oh, this could be a movie or something like that.
The character, no, he's pretty much inspired by people I knew and served with. Because I met some interesting characters, combat veterans, all kinds of shit. That's pretty much what that character. He's like a conglomeration of all these badasses I met in my time. Like he's mostly based on this one Marine I know. He went to Fallujah. He's got a combat action room with like 2 stars, Iraq, Afghanistan, I think Haiti, and he's got like this twitch because he's gotten blown up by an IDs like 3 or 4 times, and he was always just like stoic and cool and. Yeah.
So he is
me. I never did nothing. My service is whatever, compared to all that shit.
Yeah. And was there any particular like artist that inspired you? I mean, you saw like you and I both would know about like Toonami in the late 90s and 2000s, but was it really that era that kind of inspired the art that you make now?
Mostly 80s, 90s. I'm horrible at pronouncing Japanese names. So I'm just going to note the works that they have done. The artist who has done the original Ghost in the Shell, Tank Police, that was my top one right there.
Any Shinichiro Watanabe, like Cowboy Bebop, stuff like that? Because I think that's like the
Cowboy Bebop's pretty good. I like Cowboy Bebop.
Have you seen Lazarus? Have you seen that one yet?
No.
Nah, I haven't had time to watch anything, but I was like, I am the type of person that like I will look at the directors, I'll look at the artists, and I was like, anything by Shinichiro Watanabe, like I'm gonna watch it. Michiko and Hatchin, Cowboy Bebop, Samurai Champloo, and then I saw Lazarus, and I said, one of these days I'm gonna finish everything and then watch Lazarus. It actually came out the weekend that I got sent out on my absent deployment, and I was just like, I was sitting in there waiting because I had an issue with like actually getting out to theater, so I was sitting in this hotel and I was like waiting. I was like, oh man, Lazarus is coming out next week. Let me make sure like I get on that, and then things happen.
Yeah.
But I think that era is definitely one of the. I think that's still like the golden era. I kind of think anything that came out after 2013 is kind of almost like a new generation behind me because it's just like you got the SAOs, you got all the the isekai stuff, and I'm like, man, can't we just take it back to like the 90s and the 2000s, man?
Dude, I hate isekai. Isn't that where they get someone goes to a different world or something? I hate that shit so much. It's so lame.
And me and my buddy, we used to have this this long going thing. Shout out to one of my buddies from the academy. He was a fan of what was it? Well, I think it was Shield. Yeah, Rising of the Shield. No, it was Overlord. He was a fan of Overlord, and he was like, "Hey, if you watch Overlord, I'll watch this." So like, every weekend after we were studying, or we would, get a drink, go hang out. Like, hey man, we didn't. went through some BS. We then had a really tough time. You know, I was boxing at the time. He's like, hey, you know, you just lost your fight. Let's just sit back, watch some Shield Hero and watch some Gundam and stuff like that. Just like see if we can make something better out of this, you know, tough time that we're in. But you know, stuff like that really makes it fun.
For me though, like it has to do artistic wise. Like you may watch Sailor Moon and think it's like this silly, like magical girl, whatever crap. For me though, the art, like the animation for one, is just so good. And then the backgrounds in the actual show are all like kind of like pastel watercolors, and they contrast so fucking good with the artistically. I love that show. Berserk is another one too. I didn't really know much about Berserk, and I showed one of my buddies in the army. I gave him my book, and he's looking at it. He's like, "This is kind of like Berserk." I'm like, "Okay, let me check that out."
Yeah,
and that's one of my favorites now too. Pretty much anything from the 80s, 90s, because it's like actual hand drawn and like nowadays. What I prefer to watch. It's weird. I like slice of life stuff more now than any other kind of stuff. So.
And you could tell by the hat, I'm a huge fan of Studio Gainax. You know, anything from you know, Fully Cooley to Gurren Lagann, you know, stuff like that. Like it's like the Mecha series. Like I just something about that, like just over the top, crazy art style. Like it never fails to.
That's good too. I mean, it's a visual medium. Make it crazy, make it cool. You know, I think that's something a lot of people forget about when they're doing comics and animation. It's make it crazy, go crazy.
Yeah, and there was a really cool project. I was glad I saw it when I came back. It was called Fully Cooley Reanimated, and it was literally just like a giant, massive compilation of independent, like fan artists or fan animators that all took their individual art styles and they animated a scene from episode 5 of Fully Cooley. So it's like just this one long string of different art styles. Like you've got like the really crazy hardcore, the chibi art style, because in Fully Cooley, they parodied South Park. They took like a bunch of creative liberties. So it's just like every single scene is a different art style, but it's the same episode, the same audio, the same music, the same everything. And I was like, stuff like that is what I love about like anime and manga, because you have people that take it, they put their own spin on it, but then they come back and they pay homage to the work. And like, mind you, Fully Cooley came out like 1999. And just seeing something like that, getting a new project in like, at the time it was like 2025. It's like, yeah, this is what I love about like anime and conventions and stuff like that.
What about Dan to Dan? That's probably my favorite right now.
Okay, I saw season 1. I haven't seen season 2 yet.
It's so good. For me, I love it because it's about aliens and ghosts and stuff, and I love all that stuff. And the artist is just like goes balls to the wall with everything. Yeah.
It reminds me, I know it's kind of a weird comparison, but it kind of reminds me of Haruhi Suzumiya, whereas Haruhi Suzumiya was more comedic and it was like evenly paced. This one is just like full sci-fi, full crazy, like full investigations, but like Suzumiya was more, I don't want to say abstract, but it was more about like the characters than it was about the actual paranormal investigation stuff. But I have so much stuff in my backlog. I actually
me too.
And you've seen like my cosplay, my primary cosplay. I actually found out, I haven't posted about it, but apparently we are getting an anime remake of Katekyo Hitman Reborn. And I'm like,
nice.
Oh, you should have seen me when I saw that news. I was like, yes. Actually, I'm actually going to a costume party this weekend. One of my friends is having a party, and we're all going to dress up and everything. I was like, yeah, I'm going to dress up as Sasagawa from Katekyo Hitman.
Hell yeah.
It's so good to see some of the old stuff kind of come back.
It is coming back, dude. Ghost in the Shell, a new anime is coming out, and they're making it like the actual manga. Like the first Ghost in the Shell movie, it looked like, the style wasn't like how it was in the original comic, but this one, I'm excited.
Yeah. Ghost in the Shell. I know. I know that there's a new Spice and Wolf. I haven't seen that yet. You said Slice of Life. I love Spice and Wolf, and I also know that Wolf and Parchment is coming out. I really hope, because I used to have like the Funimation channel on like basic cable, and I used to watch like all the shows on there. I really hope, because I actually saw Lucy Christian at a convention recently. I really hope that they can do something and bring back School Rumble, because that's like one of my favorite comedy series of all time, and I hope they can bring it back.
School Rumble? I never heard of that one.
Yeah, it was like a 2006. It was really funny. It was Lucy Christian and School Rumble, but it was like, I mean, Lucy Christian and Brandon Potter. But I was like, I really hope that, in my I say the dark side of my 20s. I can see like a lot of the old stuff that I used to like kind of make a resurgence and come back, and so just perpetuate the art style, because in a sense that's kind of what you're doing with First American Manga Project, is like you're paying homage to like the the 80s and 90s style, where it's like a lot more, I want to say pulp, that's kind of like the word that they use. But that's what I love about the industry. But seeing how you can take the industry in your own hands, I think that's one of the coolest things ever.
Yeah, when you like one of my teachers from the Cooper School, he said, just draw what you love and it'll always be good. And I love that style, so
yeah,
going with it.
So the Cubert School. So what is like your tools of the trade? Because making manga is not just as simple as just hand drawn stuff anymore. Like a lot of it is really digital and electronic. So what's it like being a mangaka from like in your day to day?
So I call it like military term, combined arms. I literally use everything.
Yeah.
At first I wanted, I should just do digital because it'll be faster. But I was like, I should draw traditional because even though it'll look kind of messy or whatever, it still has that charm to it, that it was hand drawn. So what I do for my pages, everything is drawn, like I pencil it and then I ink it and then I scan it, and I have a app called Clip Studio Paint. Mm-hmm. And I put my pages in there. I clean them up. I fix things up. I do gray tones, like the little dots. I'll gray tone it. Sometimes I'll screen tone it. That's what it's called, screen tone. Sometimes I'll just do like a gray rendering if it's like a dream sequence or something. And I'll letter it on there too. So up to traditional drawing with line work is traditional. Everything else is digital.
And about how long does that take? Because I know people talk about, the mangaka schedule, like in Japan, like they run a really tight ship over there. But what's it like sort of like doing it independently? What's your like daily schedule like?
My schedule is I'll try to have a schedule it'll last like a few days, and I'm married, I got a dog and stuff, so I'm pretty much on their schedule. My wife gets home, I cook dinner and stuff and all that. I'll get up, I'll start working on layouts. Layouts are the things that take the longest because that's like building the skeleton of the page. Mm-hmm. You got to figure out where your characters are going to be in the panel, the layouts, the flow of the page, all that crap. I'd say that's about a couple hours. Drawing, I'd say a page on an average, maybe 8 hours in total. If it's more complex with backgrounds and things that need to be ruled out, probably another extra couple hours.
Damn. So you want to be mangaka, don't quit your day job, because this is a day job. I've literally just got off work now and just threw this on there.
And most like big name manga artists, they have like assistants and stuff to do those things, like to build it, the backgrounds, the screen tones. I'm doing all this shit myself.
Yeah,
I could hire people to. No, I just want to do it myself, bro. I don't want to have to rely on anybody else for my own work.
And you're self-published then, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Oh wow! So what's that like versus working with like a studio or any other like large partner network? That was kind of one of the things that was like, I see you because I know you, but like I don't see a lot of other people surrounding you. So I'm like, it's got to be tough being like kind of your one man kind of doing your own thing. Like it's got to be kind of tricky.
It's a little bit, but in a ways, it's like my therapy too. Like I was deployed and I did like 20 pages while I was deployed, so it's like I can do it. It's just a lot of work. It's just a lot of time. Yeah. That's all.
Yeah.
But like I said, most manga artists, they have assistants that do their stuff, and I'm just doing it myself. Yeah. I'm gonna finish this book, and then I got another project, which is it's kind of going to be like a Shonen Jump type of magazine where it has different stories in it. Because I have like 5 or 6 more stories I want to get down, and I figure, I'll just make a big magazine book thing and at least have a chapter of one of them.
That'd be cool.
Yeah.
And the newest one, or one of the ones I've seen more prominently on your page, is Death Trap. Could you give a quick synopsis for someone that's never heard of it or never seen it before?
So pretty much, essentially, it's a war veteran fighting human traffickers. That's the whole gist of it. And it takes place in Michigan. There's this group of people in my little world. There's like people who are kidnapping all the beautiful girls and stuff. So there's like a group called the Matrons. They're just dudes dressing like women, because there's not a lot of women, and they just kidnap the girls and give them to these like higher up, people. It's almost like I didn't even know about the Epstein Island bullshit before I started. It's kind of like that, dude.
Oh man,
because that's how I had it planned. Like all these important people are behind it and all this stuff.
I think there was a Working Man. There's a Jason Statham movie where like I don't think that's the exact same thing, but like I know it's something like that.
And also though, like I got a like subtle like religious themes and stuff in there. There's like all different things going on in the background with how my characters like get their powers and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So
that's cool. And what advice would you give to an aspiring artist? Like I used to have like that idea where that's something I wanted to do. I used to want to be like a film director or stuff, and then
me too.
Life kind of took me in a different path, and like I'm on the dark side of my 20s, and I'm at a point where I'm like, there's a phrase that I heard. It's if you love what you do for a living, you never work a day in your life.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm a little bit envious of the people that kind of do things like that. I know it has their own, its own share of difficulties. But what advice would you have for someone that wants to do something like this and sort of carry the art forward?
Drawing wise, you need to learn everything. You can't just sit there and draw like a character. No, you got to start with the basics. You just have to draw every fucking day. It's 10% talent, 90% hard work. I kind of knew this before I went to art school, but after the comic book school, I'm like, yep, because that's what you do every fucking day. You're drawing, and you go home and you draw some more, and you have all these deadlines. It makes you better though.
Yeah. How do you fight like writer's block or creator's block or stuff like that? Because like I can't even play video games for like 5 hours, consecutively, because I'm like, man, at a certain point I get tired.
I used to try to struggle through that, like push through it, but I realized if I do that, the quality of my work isn't as good. So you got to get away from it. You know what I'm saying? Like go outside, go take a drive somewhere.
Yeah.
You got to get the mind clutter out of there. Like
metacognition.
Yeah, the other day I'm like trying to draw my pages. I'm like, I don't want to fucking do this shit. I don't like this. And then I come back to it this morning. I'm like, oh, I'm on it.
There it is.
I'm
Perfect
on it.
Yeah.
You work out, do something, get your brain functioning in a different way instead of thinking and worrying about your pages. It's all mind games.
And you say you have a convention coming up. Is that like, do you sell like any merchandise like at conventions? Because I know that's a really huge thing. That's probably one of the most fun things about going to conventions is buying stuff. But what's that like for you? Like getting out there and showing your face?
I've been doing it for a while. At first, like it's weird. I'm like an extroverted introvert. Like I can talk to people, but my battery, goes dead up. Rather fast. I'm like, I don't want to fucking talk to anybody after like a few hours. Now I'm used to it. I love talking to people now. Once you realize they're all like me, just nerds, and they're interested. It's fun, man. Like you see people interested.
Post-con exhaustion, man. Because I've been there. Like I'll stay at a hotel and like after a full day of just party, I'm just like, shit, man, I gotta go to sleep.
Yeah, sitting behind a desk is a whole different thing because I'm just like when I get commission, I'm just drawing all day and then selling stuff. Luckily, I have my wife to help me, sell stuff. But it's fun, man. People come up, they pick up your book and they ask you about your story. I got my pitch now. I sell prints and books right now.
Yeah, prints
are like characters and stuff. And then I'll sell people will ask me, oh, can you draw this character? And then I'll do commissions. I don't like to have too much clutter in my desk. I like to keep it simple. You see a lot of people, I'm not knocking what they do, but they got stickers and keychains and all this stuff. Yeah. For me personally, it's easier if I have a couple things, keep it simple. I got my big thing, two big like things of prints that you see. It brings you over. The big anime titties bring you over. And then when you get over, I sell you my book.
I mean, that's how a lot of the things are. Like that's how the setups are. But the one thing about it is like, especially when you talk about commissions, because I actually had someone commission some artwork for me for actual Operation Silver Bullet. I don't know if you've seen like the logo and stuff like that yet. I'm still kind of working on that. But with this, I don't know if I could call it a market, but with this industry being so saturated, how do you navigate through that? Because everybody's, an independent artist, everybody's trying to get themselves out of there. So like, how do you sort of stand out and, make yourself known?
Everybody's an independent artist, but not everybody has 100-page manga to sell. When I'm in anime conventions, I look around and see there's maybe like 2, maybe 3 other people that have their own books. That's how I stand out.
Yeah,
And plus I'm usually the only one that has like this is doing like the retro stuff too.
that's true. Because I've seen, I traverse the internet like most Gen Z individuals. Like I'm seeing like a lot of, content creators and streamers like starting to get into it. I know some people that are doing their own manga and stuff like that. Like for example, like Common America, or I heard that the guy Corey Kenshin, I heard he's doing like his own manga now. So it's like we're seeing a whole lot of different talent come into it, and I think it's great. But it's also really tough because it's like, how do you stand out and really get, hey, I'm a guy that does like retro veteran, warfare stories. How do you sort of find an audience for that versus, in the giant vast sea of everybody that's getting into it?
Luckily for me, like I was always posting my drawings and stuff online, like military stuff. So I kind of got a little bit of a following for that. And it's cool because it's interesting because when I go to conventions, it's like all different groups of people and they just like it anyways. They see that you have your own book. It doesn't even fucking matter that whatever the genre is,
That's support your local manga.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's not really that hard, honestly. You just got to do it and get out there and talk to people. I'm thinking nowadays, like it used to be, I'm going to crowdfund my stuff and which is fine. But I'm finding that going to conventions now I sell a lot of fucking books now when I go to conventions. I think people just like to see that you created something, they appreciate it. Because I feel like that's like almost a dying thing with AI and all that kind of stuff.
That was my next question.
People want a physical, something they can hold, something that you made. It's special,
Yeah. And how do you sort of balance that? Because I've had my own, opinions on like the, AI integrated or AI generated artwork. And I think that's a big, especially because, I'm trying to deal within the legal realm. I do think that's a very dubious legal question, but how do you navigate that?
For me, honestly, like AI doesn't bother. I'm gonna be honest with you. It bothers me a little bit, but like not me. I don't feel threatened by it because I know I'm always gonna draw on people who are always gonna want, some physical thing in their hand. For me, I don't think AI. I think it's a good tool to get ideas from. Like if you're like, how would this look if or this background, and you generate it. Like, okay, all right, I got an idea, and then you draw your own thing. I think that's how AI should be used. I do not think you should be selling your fucking AI artwork. That's for damn sure. You should not be making money off it. Yeah, because all AI is pulling stuff from everything that all artists, So you should not. I do not believe in selling AI stuff at all. That's bullshit art. No.
It's not original.
Don't sell it.
Not original.
Use it. Use it to get ideas.
The big thing was the Miyazaki, like the Studio Ghibli artwork. Like I remember that being a big thing because people were making like Studio Ghibli cross just anything, but in that
I did it too. It was fun. I wasn't.
But it's like, okay, if you were like an artist or an animator of Studio Ghibli, it's like, man, like I dedicated my life learning how to figure this out, and you just were able to generate it. Like I can imagine that's got to be frustrating because the most I've done is I've published like a short story, like a written short story. Like I haven't done anything that's visually integrated. Like I haven't had any like visual artwork, but I imagine that's got to be tough, seeing something that is a facsimile of your own work that's just reproduced like that, when for you it took like hours. Yeah, for you it took your entire school, not entire, but it took your schooling.
That's why I'm, like I said, you should not be making any money off that shit.
Yeah. And I do think that this is just my legal brain, but I do think the best thing that would have happened is for us to get legislation ahead of time, because even as a teenager, I sort of saw the writing on the wall with how this was going to be used in terms of plagiarism and in terms of integrating other people's stuff. And it's even tougher because I haven't gotten to the full background, but I was actually part of the honor team or honor staff at the academy when I was a cadet. And thankfully, we didn't have any like AI generated like turned in papers, but they're using AI to spot plagiarism. Upload this paper, upload this paper, and this AI thing is going to grade it to see how much of it you plagiarized. And it's like, okay, that's kind of weird. Like you have AI plagiarism, but you also have AI anti-plagiarism. Like, you ever see the movie 17 again?
No.
It was the Zac Efron one, but basically the guy got rich. He said, you know how rich I am? He said, I'm the guy that created the software that prevents people from stealing music on the internet. I'm also a guy that created the software that helps people steal music for the internet, but that's a happy coincidence.
Yeah, that's like the antivirus programs and stuff. They
Yeah.
made the viruses so you can buy the antivirus. But
And then
dude,
it's gonna make a story about how the antivirus and the virus are gonna fight each other. So it's like, now you're stepping in on my territory.
You want to know something crazy about AI? My friend was showing me on Photoshop.
Yeah.
There is a button where it'll color your drawing for you.
Really?
That's fucked up to me.
Is that like one of the hardest parts? Like for you, for its inking, but it's like, is that one of the hardest parts, or is that just like
me, like in the military, like Marine Corps and the Army, you had to know you better fucking know your job and the job 2 fucking ranks above you, especially in the infantry. If you're platoon leader, sergeant, whoever goes down, you gotta, your radio man goes down, you gotta pick that shit up, or machine gun, you gotta know how to do it, So for me, I'm gonna know how to pencil, ink, color, everything, letter. That way, if I do hire people and they can't do it, I can step in and do it myself.
Yeah.
So
in our industry, we call it being a multi-capable airman. So you are a multi-capable, mangaka.
Mm-hmm.
But I just think it's really amazing. But and I got to ask, because I like to ask the hard questions. Do you believe that art is inherently political? I mean, we're 2 guys that, you used to wear the uniform. I wear the uniform. There's a lot of, political connotations with, war stories and things like that. How do you navigate that? Because we're also living in a very hyper opinionated world, to where anything from talking about, the story of Death Trap with all the political or societal implications, that tends to get under people's skin, or people, can't really look at art for what it is. They always see the message behind that. Have you ever had to like navigate stuff like that?
Yeah, I think, it's like Mr. Miyagi said in Karate Kid, balance. Everything it has to be balanced. You have too much political shit, you pounding someone in the head in it, it's not going to be cool.
Yeah.
You keep it in the background, you keep it subtle. Like, because I love film too. Some of my most favorite films have political commentary in it, but it's not pounding your head, like Night of the Living Dead.
Yep.
Dawn of the Dead and Day of the Dead. All those movies have like these political undertones in it.
I'm a Tarantino fan. That's just me.
Yeah, so like then it has balance in it. It's not beating you over the head. That's the problem with like modern American comics, and like from Marvel and DC. They let these activists come in, and they're not creative. All they wanted to do is self-insert and push political ideas. And like I said before, it's a visual medium. You have to show cool. You have to make it look cool things going on, not pages of fucking people talking and cooking and all this dumb shit.
Yeah.
So politics and comics is fine. It's just balance.
It's like, I remember that was a big deal with Funimation, like some of the art, like the translation, especially for like comedy anime.
I do not watch.
They were completely like changing the scripts and stuff like that. It's just like this. That's why it feels so off watching it in dub. That's why people hate English.
I hate dubs, dude, because they try to make it. I hate when they try to make it sound like an American is talking. I just give me the fucking translation of how the Japanese wanted it. I don't want these like American like slang words thrown in there and all this crap,
But my favorite, matter of fact, I have to dig it up out of there. But my favorite series, and people that know me know my favorite series is Black Lagoon, and I still hail that as one of the best. Please tell me you've seen Black Lagoon.
No, I haven't. Wait, that's the one with the girl with the tattoo.
Yes,
and
2 hands.
And the fucking Beretta. I've watched a couple episodes.
Of that. No, drop everything you're doing and watch the Black Lagoon English dub. It's I want to say it's perfection.
Yeah.
But the funny thing about it was, like, Revy is Chinese, Rock was Japanese, most of the Lagoon crew was American. Roberta was Colombian, and they worked for a Russian mob boss in the South China Sea. It's just like and they do, and it's like a M-rated show. Like, they pull no punches about making any type of really dark, because it is a dark show, but they pull no punches about like dark humor or talking about like political or really like messed up topics.
You see, that's why I like anime and manga more so, because they're not afraid to tell a story how they want to tell it. They're not worried about offending a group of people. If they have a story they want to tell it, they tell it. Even in like some of the fucking episodes of Sailor Moon, there's like shit about like Christianity and religion, and there's like a horror episode.
Angel's Egg. The movie Angel's Egg.
That's why I appreciate it more. If I'm reading manga, I know I'm not going to get fed no fucking bullshit. It's just going to be this guy's story that he wanted to tell, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. It's like and I always talk about Black Lagoon. My favorite character is Balalaika. And she was basically, so it's sort of like a historical fiction where they take different periods of history and they like make a character based on it and they put them in a jacked up situation and show their life. And my favorite character in that one is Balalaika because she was a Soviet operative and she fought in the Russo-Afghan War, and then she ended up getting captured. She got tortured. Her face was all jacked up, and then when she came back, the USSR had fallen, and then her and her entire crew were thrown out like nothing. Mm-hmm. And now it's about her being, this former Soviet, badass military officer, leader of the special forces unit, and now she's just like, oh well, you're just like you're nothing but like a low, dirty criminal. Completely ostracized from your family and your home. Like no one really cares about you. And it's more about her just saying like, okay, if that's what I'm going to be, I'm just going to, wage war and make chaos because that's what I'm born to do. Like straightforward characters like that are like the coolest.
You ever check out Gunsmith Cats? That's another one. That's from the 90s.
That's on my list. Gunsmith Cats and Bubblegum Crisis and Dirty Pair. Like some of those, like
I fucking love Dirty Pair. Dirty Pair rules.
Man. Because I saw it was this AMV of it because I got really into city pop for some reason. Like during the pandemic, I was watching like these giant city pop compilations, and they were just like all these really old like 70s, 80s animes. Like you had City Hunter, the Bubblegum
City
Crisis,
Hunter rules.
Like,
that's
Devil Man. Like when anime was like really just gory and stupid back then, but it was all all of these AMVs and videos. But it had like modern city pop music. And I was just like, okay, this is like a really cool blend of stuff. And then I found out what Dirty Pair was. And then I found out they're trying to do a revival of it. I think they're trying to do like a Blu-ray remastering of it. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, I would love to see something like that. Cause take it back to like the 90s, man. I was born in the late 90s, but I was like a 2000s kid. But I was like, man, take it back to like the 90s.
Yeah. I was born in like the mid 80s. So
yeah,
I got a few years on you.
Yeah,
I love like Dirty Pair, Gunsmith Cats, Bubblegum Crisis. That's all my jam.
Yeah, then you would love Black Lagoon. I pitch everybody.
I don't know. I watched like a couple episodes on Hulu and I liked it. I don't know why I stopped. I must have just got distracted by something else.
Got busy. But Black Lagoon is I hail it as one of the greatest. I say that there's 3 series that I always recommend to someone. Like I had a friend, he just doesn't like anime at all. He doesn't like anything animated. He doesn't like Disney. He doesn't like any of that stuff. And I was like, okay, if I can find something for you to watch that is so good that it sort of transcends the medium, what would it be? Do you have any like top picks for like someone that's not interested in it at all? Like, what would you recommend?
Actually, there is one movie that's really fucking good. I think it's called a Silent Voice. You ever heard of that one with the deaf girl?
Yeah,
that's a fucking good movie, man. Just like well written.
You don't feel something in that movie, you have no soul.
That's like one of me and my wife's favorite movies. We watch that like every few months. There's so many, dude. I think some Gundam stuff and some of that stuff is like really brutal and I can't think of one thing though. Yeah. There's so many. I'd even say some Sailor Moon shit kind of does it too, because there's some episodes like, damn, this shit is fucking serious.
Everybody loves Sailor Moon.
You ever watch Inuyasha? My wife loves that fucking anime. But there's one
bits and pieces of Inuyasha, and I saw the entirety of the final act. I haven't seen Yasuhime though. That's on my list.
Dude, there's this one episode of Inuyasha. It's like about this little kid who accidentally kills like her mom or something in a fire or something, and they have to like go find her ghost and like but then they have it's a conflict because it's a kid. That was serious. Dan to Dan also there's like this part where this girl's mom, and it's like the backstory of how the mom was taking care of the kid, and then she
the loan sharks, and then she ended up, and then she I'm not gonna spoil it.
That was
that episode was one that was like
that gave me chills, man.
Yeah, that was a good episode.
That's why I like manga and anime. People think it's just cartoons, but they do some like serious stuff in these things.
Yeah. And that's kind of what made it different than like sort of like the American cartoons. Because like a lot of people think that because it's animated, it's for children. I'm like, especially now that I have like younger siblings, I'm like, please do not make that mistake because you'll think you're turning on a cartoon and you will expose them to something that you do not want to expose them to.
Oh, that reminds me how I remember my first encounter with anime. I think it was on the Sci-Fi Channel on a Saturday, and my dad was watching it, and he's just like, "Hey, Daniel, check this out. This cartoon just said a cuss word." I'm like, "What? What?" I'll always remember that. I think it was like Demon City or something like that. Some corny.
Or it might have been was it Devil May Cry? Because I know we used to show a lot of the Devil May Cry anime on Sci-Fi.
Nah, it was like Demon City, some Japanese word I'm not going to try to butcher.
Yeah. But seeing it get like really popular on mainstream, like when because I'm a huge fan of Fooly Cooley. When they had the Fooly Cooley season 2 and season 3 episode in Japanese, I was like, I never in my life thought I would see something like that. Where on an American television network, they would show like a Japanese dub English sub show. I was like, that's crazy, man. Look how far we've come.
You know what the best anime that came out of Toonami besides, I guess, Cowboy Bebop? You ever watch Ronin Warriors, a.k.a. Samurai Troopers?
Nope, haven't seen Samurai Troopers. I've seen Samurai Champloo.
Bro, Samurai Troopers has like that 80s, 90s style event. I think that's why I probably liked a lot. But you should definitely check that one out. And the Japanese translation is better, but the English translation is kind of okay.
Yeah.
That's one of the I'm not a big fan of like the whole, I don't know what the genre is, but when people transform into things, I'm not like a big fan of that. It's whatever.
I like the fantasy stuff. I love Digimon Frontier, but everyone hates
that was after my time, bro.
I love Digimon Frontier. Maybe it's because I was a kid when it came out, but I was like, that
probably.
That was my show.
I never got too much into Dragon Ball Z. I like the Dragon Ball. Dragon Ball Z just got repetitive for me after a while, like Pokemon, and I'm lame.
I remember when I was 7 years old, Naruto came out. That's when I knew I was onto something different because I didn't like Bleach and I didn't like One Piece. But when I saw Naruto, I remember me and my buddy, we were like in second grade, and he goes like, "Hey man, like." Because we both like Dragon Ball Z. He's like, "Hey man, there's this show out. It's kind of like Dragon Ball Z. Like, make sure you watch it this weekend." And I watched episode 1 where Naruto, fought against Mizuki. He said, "You ever put your hands on my master, I'll kill you." I was like, "Oh, they're not afraid to like get real violent on this show. Oh, this is cool." He was the nine-tailed fox and everything. I was like, "Man, this was sick."
I never watched that either. I think that's just after my time.
Yeah, that might be that too. And now Boruto is a thing. I haven't caught up to anything on Boruto. Anything that's after like 2016. Just because once I got to college and then started having my own responsibilities, like even nowadays, like I kind of only watch something when I have absolutely nothing else to do and I can just turn my brain off. But because I've been moving and shaking and doing so much stuff, you know the background of it. I just haven't had the time to like sit down and focus. But eventually, at some point in time, I will kind of get back into this hobby of mine. But yeah, man, I don't have any conventions coming up in the next couple of weeks, but like. Anytime I get a weekend or I can take some leave or do something, man, like I love getting back into this old art form, man, because that's really all it is about. Like, yeah, do your job, but also have fun, man.
It is fun. I noticed like the group, the people, like, there's some weirdos, but going to a normal comic book convention versus an anime one, it's pretty different. I feel like it's more fun because I see like family, like I'll see a mom. The whole family dressed up as Spy Family, like the kids, the little girl, and it's
that's fun stuff. But if you're going to one, know which one you're going to. Because I have been to some conventions where it's like it's clear that this is geared more for the adults, and we're just gonna be going around just drinking and just partying. So it's like, and then I see someone bring their kids. I'm just like, yeah, you are not supposed to bring your kids here. This is definitely for like adults. Like I would never bring like any like my younger siblings. I'm like, no, we're not doing that. But like the ones that are like here, like because they have gaming conventions and stuff too. It's like they'll do games and stuff like that. Like, okay, yeah. Like the very first convention I went to, this guy, he brought his kid, and the kid was like real small, and he had his kid dressed up as a Sailor Moon character and competed in like a cosplay competition. I was just like, okay, yeah, stuff like that's really cool.
Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah, that'd be me as a dad when I grow up.
That's one of the only things I like living in New Jersey. There's a lot, like plenty of stuff like that around to do.
Yeah, more local stuff like that. But man, I love chopping it up with you. But I just got a couple of last minute parting questions. plus or minus, and I ask everyone this question. I said, plus or minus one thing, if you could add or subtract it to your life, does you add to or subtract from your life that would increase your station in life, make you feel like a more complete, well-rounded whole person, that would make you feel like you've accomplished what you want to accomplish in this life? What would it be?
Give me an extra head and an extra set of hands and arms so I can draw more and get more done.
And what do you plan on doing in the? Oh, so go ahead.
I'm just gonna say, like, I'm 40. Like, my sole purpose right now is just to draw these fucking stories that I want to do. That's it. I'm gonna do it till I die. That's it.
Yeah. Okay. He's the English Oda at this point. Oda's gonna do 10 more years of One Piece. And what do the next 5 years look like for you? Is this is Death Trap going to be your magnum opus, or are there any side projects that are just coming down, waiting for this to be generated? What's your future looking like?
Like I told you before, I'm gonna get this second book done. Then I'm moving on to the like magazine Shonen Jump type thing. I was thinking maybe putting like a QR code and people can vote to see what story they want to do next, and then I would do that one next.
Okay.
But if not, I think I have one more Death Trap book in me. I'm gonna do that. At least I want a 5-year projection, at least 2 more books. I think that's a reasonable, because I don't do like 20. I like to do chunks, like 100-page chunkers, So I think that's a reasonable thing for me. And maybe grow a little bit more, branch out a little bit,
Cool. Taking on an apprentice? I don't know. That might be the thing.
If my thing is like, I will never have someone work for me and not be able to pay them what they deserve. And that's why I don't have people work for me, because I cannot pay them what they deserve. You know?
Especially in mainland Japan. I've heard that's a big, like the Kyoto anti-fire of 2019.
Oh yeah.
The conditions of like the people that work in the anime manga industry, like, for us in the West, it's mostly consumption, but in the East, yeah, man, it's brutal over there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they get sick, like the guy from Berserk. I'm pretty sure he just got sick from working and stuff. They worked their, God bless them, they worked their fucking asses off, but a human needs a break. Human's got a human.
Yeah. And last but not least, how can the good people find you for First American Manga, for any merch, any books, or if they want to chop it up and just, I don't know, have you for another interview? How can the good people find you?
Not too crazy about social media. I post on TikTok sometimes and Instagram. That's it. First American Manga. That's it. And then I have my website, firstamericanmanga.com. Sell my book on that.
Sick.
Like, I don't want to have all these social media things that drive me nuts.
Yeah, don't pull a Harada.
I mean, everybody does it, I guess. To whatever. I go in person, and I'm doing it that way now.
Yeah,
that's it. Instagram, TikTok, and my website, First American Manga. That's it.
Yeah. Because I'm a huge fan of I posted about it nonstop, but I'm a huge fan of Tekken. And then Harada just stepped down. I was like, man, I'm gonna miss Harada, because Harada would just go online and like just flick up Twitter, and you'll see him respond to like 5 people just like clowning him or trolling him, or someone arguing, saying like, oh, that was one big thing I hated, was like they were trying to get on him for like his character designs in Tekken, saying that they didn't like it, they thought it was insensitive or whatever. I'm like,
that's the Twitter police, man. Anything,
you don't know what you're talking about. Like, you don't know jack.
That's the Twitter Gestapo.
Yeah, and
that's they go on there and harass manga artists and shit. If there's you made these characters a couple, how dare you?
I just saw the thing with Gachiakuda. I didn't know, because I haven't seen it, but I just got caught up on all of that lore last week, that they were harassing the people because of the stage play. I'm like, can y'all find something better to do?
It's all Western. It's like American. Like, oh
yeah, and they were getting offended because of like the skin tone of the people. I was like, it's the performers over there. Why are you upset? Like, why are you upset?
That's brain rot, bro. It's the brain rot of social media.
And then it was so funny about Harada, because like if you play Tekken, I'm use this keyword, it's literally the most diverse game ever. Like, it was my buddy, he doesn't play Tekken like I do, but he made a joke. He was like, so you have this Brazilian, this Japanese, this Chinese, this Irish, and this Italian person, and they're all speaking their native language to each other, and then they all repeat. And it's like, I'll say a whole sentence to you in Japanese, you'll decode it, and then say a whole
clap back to you in another language,
in like Polish or something, because I play Lydia, and I'm just like, it's so funny, because I was just playing Tekken like last week, and like I'm playing as Lydia, who speaks Polish, and she's fighting against Heihachi, who speaks Japanese, and they're both doing different forms of karate. I'm like, it's so funny, but like the tourists or the people that didn't grow up, playing Tekken 3 like me when I was a kid, people that didn't grow up stuff like that. They just come in and they just like, oh, I'm going to inject like my own opinions into it. I'm like, that's one of the things that would kind of be frustrating to be like someone in the art industry, is having to like deal with all that silly stuff.
That's another reason why I don't have a lot of social media, because I'll go in on people. I don't give a fuck. You're talking shit or you're acting like a tourist. I don't care. I'll call you out. What are you gonna do? Not buy my book? Oh no!
Oh no! Yeah, I'm self-produced. But man, it's been real fun. It's just been a tough week. But thank you for being able to come back to the back here with me and do episode 3 of Operation Silver Bullet. Man, I just like to shoot my interests.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, I'm interested in all things from military to art and politics and stuff like that. I like to be a whole, well-rounded person, and just communicate with you on social media and just liking and sharing and all the stuff that we do, whether it's conventions or video games and stuff like that. Now to have this, this thing, I really appreciate it. And hopefully anyone else that comes view it, find Daniel Donelly. He's a cool dude. Find him at a convention or find him, support his products and all of that, because I think that's what makes life worth living, is having to take all the things that we do in our real lives, inside and outside of uniform, and then just coming to be like, hey, what's this person doing? Because I know there's something about him that's cool. Something about me that's pretty cool. But no, I really appreciate it. Thank you for joining me for episode 3 of the Silver Bullet, man. And we're at 56 minutes and 3 seconds.
Nice. I appreciate you having me, man. It was good to have a chat.
First.
Appreciate